What is up, guys? I've been playing this game for so many years now, way too long, and the other day I was talking to a friend about all of these skins I used to see all the time but now nobody plays anymore. This video is not like the rarest skins ever, but it's cool skins that used to be popular. This video in part is brought to you by the guys over at ProGuides. You can check the guides and genius stuff down below. This is a bit different, but like it if you did, dislike it if you didn't, and let me know your favorite skins down below. So the skin that kicked this whole idea off for me was Olaf. A few days ago I was talking about Olaf in a video and it made me think back to when he was played all the time in season 2 and 3. Olaf was one of the first legendary skins that was actually really good. Released in December 2010, yes, that is 6 years ago, priced at 1820 RP. There was a time when anyone who played Olaf had this skin. It was probably just as common as his default, honestly. The player base was smaller for sure, but this was one of the first big popular skins that gained a lot of traction. The axes were different, his voiceover was new, and the skin in general just looked a lot better than others back then. Plus Olaf was super popular, which helped too. The combination of Olaf not being that popular now plus other skins just looking a lot better makes the 1820 price tag seem a little bit too high for today's standard of skins. Just to point out now before we carry on, this is not in any specific order, though the ones I remember seeing the most are at the start and the most controversial one is at the end, so make sure you stay for that. Gatekeeper Galio is the next one, released in April 2012, a legendary skin priced at 1820 and probably one of the most underrated skins in the game. Galio used to be one of the kings of the mid lane, believe it or not, especially in season 2. So if you're new to this game or you've started in the last couple of years, you won't even know what these are, but Heart of Gold, Cage's Lucky Pick, and Philosopher's Stone used to be gold per 10 items that anybody could buy. They were removed in the pre-season of season 3, but before then Galio would literally buy all 3. He'd become a bank, earning all of that passive gold and get ahead of his opponents that way. Some people hate this skin, some people love it, but it used to be really popular in season 2 and 3. His other skins were pretty crap, so if you wanted a Galio skin, you'd buy this one, but now we rarely ever see it. The next one is probably one of the most sought after skins ever, Championship Riven. This was only 975 RP and released for a short time during the Season 2 World Championships in October 2012. 4 years after this, so many Riven players would have this skin. You'd see it all the time, and if they didn't get it at the time, you could just take a trip to eBay or whatever and pay a small price of $600 to get your hands on one. Not only is this one of the coolest looking skins ever, but it's now become really rare too. Think of how many new players have joined the game since 2012 and how many old ones have quit. That doesn't leave many people still with this on an account who actually regularly play Riven. This is also a limited edition skin, by the way. It's not legacy, meaning that as of now, Riot have no plans to ever make this available again. The next two are going to be both PAX skins, PAX Sivir and PAX Jax. PAX Sivir is actually one of my favorite skins in the game. It looks amazing. Now, technically, you could only get these by attending PAX East or PAX Prime in 2010 or 2011 and finding a Rioter for a code. That instantly makes them two of the rarest skins in the game if you had to attend an event in America to get your hands on one 5 years ago, something that Riot have stopped doing now, by the way, to keep things fairer. Well, actually, they weren't as rare as you might have thought. During Season 2, 3, and even 4, people sold extra codes they got from those PAX events. Jax and Sivir were the most commonly given out ones, and you could pick them up for around 20 to 30 euros each. That's about $30 to $40. They were still pretty rare, okay? Not everyone could afford skins like that, but a lot of people did, and they became quite popular, especially considering Sivir and Jax's other skins at the time were pretty terrible. Eventually those codes were stopped and you couldn't get them anymore, meaning they've become rarer and rarer as time goes on. Both of these skins are actually awesome, especially at the time. They were above most other skins. They were rare anyway. The colors on them really stand out, and we've gone from them being uncommon to super rare. As a fellow Brit, we have to talk about Gentle Gentleman Cho'Gath. This legendary skin was released in May 2010, priced at 1820 RP. This was even before Brolaf and was one of the first skins to feature a complete voice overhaul, a new identity for the champion, or a new image, I guess. There were a few legendary skins before this one, like Red Baron Corki and others like that, but this took skins to another level for players, and honestly that's proven by how you can still buy it now. It's that good that you can still buy a 6-year-old skin. One of the quirky things was the skin uses quite a few famous quotes too, two from Monty Python films, my favourite, the "I bite your legs off" taken from the Black Knight in the Holy Grail. Anyway, the point is, this was something new for League players, more effort into a skin than had been done before, added some comedy and something different. Cho'Gath was pretty popular as a champion in the first few seasons of League especially, and this skin was very common up until around 2012 when Battlecast Cho'Gath was released, which was the same price but did even more. So we have 4 skins left. We actually have 2 individual skins and 2 sets of skins, so let's see if you can guess them down in the comments which those are actually going to be. First up are the Riot skins: Singed, Nasus, Graves, Blitzcrank and Kayle. Nasus was basically the cheap version of these, given out in handfuls at events which then miraculously appeared online. You could pick one of these up for like $10 or less. The Graves one was kind of rare, Blitz and Kayle not so much because they were available to buy in store for a limited time, so more people had them. Riot Squad Singed is a limited edition skin, the others are legacy, so it means this one won't ever come back into the store, and it was the first one of these Riot themed skins to be given away. People's opinions on these are really divided over the skins. They weren't as special as others, but the fact they were Riot themed and rare made people want them anyway. Riot Singed became famous for the orange poison trail it left behind, one of the first particle effect changes that was actually super cool. Plus, sadly, Singed was very popular in the early seasons of the game. Riot Nasus was seen a lot, Graves kind of as well, mainly because these two came first and the other skins at the time for these champions weren't too good anyway. If you wanted a skin for either of them, then they were probably your best bet. Blitzcrank and Kayle came later, and in my opinion they just weren't as good as skins in general. They weren't as rare, plus there were others available already that were viewed as a lot better. Next up is going to be a Zombie Brand, in my opinion one of the coolest skins in the game. This was a legendary skin priced at 1820 RP and released as part of the Harrowing event in October 2012. It's now legacy, so you can't buy it, but it will probably come back in future Harrowing events. This is just an awesome skin, honestly. The particle effects are great. He genuinely walks and feels like a zombie, and his flailing arms above him became a meme for a while after his release. It's really strange that this is one of the only legendary skins ever to be part of an event, so it's legacy, not available all of the time. It's definitely actually good enough to still be bought nowadays and be considered a good skin. We used to see this a fair amount actually, but being legendary and legacy plus brand not being that popular now means we hardly ever see it. Now, we kind of mentioned these earlier a little bit, but the first set of legendary skins that were retired are up next. These were the first of their kind. They were a step above normal skins released in 2010, but they were sent to the vault in 2012 mainly because they weren't worth the legendary price tag anymore, and other legendary skins were just much better. There were 5 of these originally, including Magnificent Twisted Fate, which is probably one of the worst skins ever to be made, but the Heimerdinger one was pretty decent. The best and most popular though was Firefighter Tristana. The skin itself actually looks good, but it shoots water particles as a projectile. Her whole kit is themed around the Firefighter and it works really well. Tristana is one of the oldest champions and consistently was popular, so has a lot of skins, so there was always going to be competition. Until Rocket Girl Tristana came out in 2012 though, all of her other skins sucked pretty hard and Firefighter was by far the most popular. Even though it's actually one of the oldest skins in the game now, it's still awesome even today, but being 6 years old, legacy and unavailable now, you'll rarely ever see it. I said at the start I've left the most controversial skins until the end. The referral system rewards Grey Warwick and Medieval Twitch. So not only is the referral system out of the game now, it was abused a lot, and you'd be surprised how often we used to see these skins. They were rare, but back in the early years of League, I saw them quite a few times. You needed 25 referrals for the Warwick skin and 50 for Twitch, by the way. That actually seems like quite a lot of people, right? Well, for YouTubers and streamers, or basically any high-elo player, this was really easy, especially as the game was so new and a lot of people were making their first account. Problem number 2, this is where it gets a bit controversial. This was probably the most abused system ever. You could glitch it, you could buy referrals, and it wasn't expensive either. A ton of people did this, a ton got banned, but a lot of them slipped through and got their skins. At the time, these were considered 2 of the rarest skins in the game, which obviously meant people wanted to show them off and get them. Twitch and Warwick were both kind of popular as champions anyway. Their other skins sucked, and even though not a huge amount of people had these, if they did, they'd spam the champion and the skin all the time. I thought about not including this one, but it does fit the video. These used to be uncommon but seen, whereas now we barely ever see either of them. Thank you again to ProGuides. You can check their links on the screen or down below. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, but for